So, how has the image of Canada fared on the world stage since Justin Trudeau took over in 2015? Well, first and foremost, we have a famously ludicrous Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau himself. I think we're known for stomach turning virtue signaling. Of course, we're known for draconian COVID measures, politically motivated reprisals against dissidents. Oh, and also apparently Canada's got loads of organs lying around because of all the people that the government's killing. Now, I just want to make it clear here, just for any idiots who might be listening, of course, people with terminal diseases, it's just not going to get better. And if they ask for a solution like medical assistance in dying, of course, that is humane. But that's not entirely what we're talking about here, as we'll see. But anyway, here's the headline. Canada performing more organ transplants from MAID donors, that's medical assistance in dying donors, than any country in the world. Now, you might have heard something about Canada will soon offer doctor-assisted death to the mentally ill. The mentally ill. Well, that's certainly the intention, but I'm glad to say that on March 9th, 2023, Bill C-39 received royal assent and immediately came into effect, officially postponing the eligibility date for persons suffering solely from mental illness until March 17th, 2024. And this is obviously because euthanizing the mentally ill, well, there was a country that was doing that. I think it was in Europe. I think it was in the 1930s, 40s. Yeah, I can't quite remember the name of that regime that was doing that, but I guess the point is it raises some ethical questions, doesn't it? It seems like there might be another solution for people with, say, schizophrenia than the government kills them. Even if they ask, because of course it brings up important questions, ethical questions like informed consent. Not that the Trudeau liberals care about that, but I'm just saying that a normal person might wonder about this. But even though this has been put off for a year, that doesn't mean that there's not serious questions about what Canada is doing. Here's from the Associated Press. August 11th, 2022. Disturbing. Experts troubled by Canada's euthanasia laws. Says Alan Nichols had a history of depression and other medical issues, but none were life-threatening. When the 61-year-old Canadian was hospitalized in June 2019 over fears he might be suicidal, he asked his brother to bust him out as soon as possible. Within a month, Nichols submitted a request to be euthanized, and he was killed, despite concerns raised by his family and a nurse practitioner. His application for euthanasia listed only one health condition as the reason for his request to die: hearing loss. Nichols' family reported the case to police and health authorities, arguing that he lacked the capacity to understand the process and was not suffering unbearably, and that's among the requirements required for euthanasia. They say he was not taking needed medication, wasn't using the cochlear implant that helped him hear, and that hospital staffers improperly helped him request euthanasia. Alan was basically put to death, his brother Gary Nichols said. Here's a story. A federal caseworker who allegedly offered at least 4 Canadian military veterans the option of medically assisted death is no longer working for Veteran Affairs Canada. Now, in other countries, you're not allowed to offer it. It has to be asked for. That's not the case in Canada. They can offer it to you. They can suggest. And there's obvious ethical implications there. Somebody could feel like they're being pressured into it. Or like there's no hope. If somebody's offering this to you, you're going to assume there's no hope. Is that something that you want to put on somebody, even if there isn't? And of course, there are cases where they think there is no hope, and yet somebody ends up living long afterwards. I can tell you right now, this is not the Canada that I grew up with. This is Justin Trudeau's Canada. And so we're performing more organ transplants from MAID donors than any other country in the world now. Now, of course, organ donation is good. But again, do I have to keep bringing up ethics in this? Especially since in 2024, we're scheduled to offer this to people with mental illness, including people who just have depression. And I'm not saying that depression isn't a big deal. I'm just saying maybe we shouldn't offer to kill people when they're depressed. Maybe there's just a better way to go about the whole organ donation thing. How about this? Easier to let go. Terminally ill woman in Canadian euthanasia commercial that glorified suicide previously said that she wanted to live but couldn't afford care to improve her quality of life. Yes, she was in this a disturbing commercial by a Canadian fashion giant, La Maison Simons, about medical assistance and dying. And it turns out she didn't actually really want to die. It's just that the Canadian healthcare system is so degraded at this point that dying was a better option than relying on it. And of course, the current destruction of our healthcare system in Canada is due to Justin Trudeau with his mass immigration, which is swamping the system and making it a shadow of its former self, which leads to more people just wanting to die and then more organ donations. And if you think it can't get more messed up, don't forget Justin Trudeau's the Prime Minister. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.